Guys, welcome to Rangers FC Matchday News. Guys, it is Matchday. We do take on Hibernian today in the Scottish Cup quarterfinals, back in domestic action after the half of the Europa League on Thursday night. That fantastic 2-2 draw at the Real Estadio de la Luz in Lisbon against the mighty Benfica, who weren't that mighty, actually, come to think of it. We're going to talk, obviously, and build up to today's game, which is a 5:30 kickoff. We will be bringing you a live stream later of the game, so please come and join me for said live stream. Well, there's a few talking points, a few things to go through as a result, obviously, of the game on Thursday. Now, obviously, Philippe Clement has an awful lot to consider and to think about coming into this game today. You know, who does he play? Who does he field? Who gets a run out and who doesn't get a run out? Who's available? Who's not available? It's all, up there. It's all in, up in the melting pot, as to say. Look, Philippe Clement has talked about this game. He's talked about the fact, obviously, coming off the back of that Europa League, that very taxing Europa League game where, again, worryingly, there was an injury, wasn't there? Yes, Dujon Sterling seen limping and having an ice pack on his hammy at the end of the game. All extra things for Big Phil to think about. Philippe Clement did talk a little bit about the Hibs game in a post-match presser and also in a press conference. He said that first of all, I've read that they felt unlucky in their last two games against us, so they will have a lot of belief, something that Nick Montgomery has said. Nick Montgomery's talked about the fact that, in his opinion, this Hibs team that takes on Philippe Clement's Rangers today is a whole lot better than the results of the two previous games, and we will have a look at those shortly. We head up to Edinburgh for today's game, and we will be going there feeling very positive. Yes, there was a downer in the league, before domestically, obviously that terrible defeat at Motherwell against Motherwell at Ibrox with an awful performance, but obviously buoyed by that fantastic display in Lisbon. And if we can recapture any of that display today against Hibs, we should be certainly far too good for Hibs. But now, one thing that will be worrying Philippe Clement going into today's game will be the mounting injury list. Like I said, Dujon seems to be injured. Obviously, no Oscar Cortez, he is out long term. No Abdallah Seaman, no Rabbi Matondo. A lot of players missing still through injury. So it's going to be, again, a case of really who is available to play today. An awful lot of games missing. Now, people talked obviously about this. Well, could there be a fatigue issue? Could there be a real worry about Rangers raising their game again after that such a high of a Europa League? Clement did talk about this. He said, he told us, proof that was the Real Betis game when a few days later, we then went and won the League Cup final. Getting into the semi-final is an important thing as we want more trophies. He talks obviously about the fact that, yes, the Hibs have strengthened their team. Yes, they have. There's some decent new players there. Marc Canardes, I think his name has come into their team. And yes, he will make a difference. But we're different as well. We've got players, obviously, Diomande will be available. Silva will be available for this game. I think, it will be tougher than it has been in the past, and obviously Big Phil is obviously got a lot of things to consider ahead of the game. Who can he actually put in key positions? Are we going to see a slight formation change? What will we see today in today's game? Nick Montgomery, speaking of the game, he talked a little bit about the game as well in his press conference, and the Hibs boss said the players we brought in during January have given added belief. When you look at the size of their budget, Rangers are more than capable of playing in several competitions, so we'll be the underdog, but we're in a good place right now. We are confident we can give a good account of ourselves. They're a top team and have a real good run of results, but Motherwell proved last week, even with 10 times less the budget as Rangers, you can still win a game of football. Now, in terms of team news going into today's game, Big Phil has been talking about that, and he said that we'll see how people recover, basically referencing Thursday's game. Look at who is back, who is able to play. Obviously, question marks over Tom Lawrence. Has he got the fitness to go through and play a couple of games, in a short space of time? Ryan Jack, can he play? What's the situation with Dujon Sterling? Todd Cantwell, Kieran Dowell are all out. Scott Wright apparently is out as well. But Leon Balogun is back in contention. Obviously, Big Leon could not play in the game at in Lisbon because of the fact he's not in the European squad. So, look, it's going to be a big choice for Big Phil as to who he puts in there. Now, personally, I would put Leon Balogun back in there. I think that's a definite for me. And obviously, Big Phil has a decision to make. Out of these three central defenders, who does he go with? Now, look, realistically, he's probably going to be Connor Goldson and one other. Realistically, is Connor Goldson the best of those three defenders at the moment? No, he really genuinely isn't. Look, forget the own goal on Thursday. Let's just reference back to the Motherwell game. In the Motherwell game, he was out-muscled, out-thought, everything by the Motherwell striker Bear. Even previous to that, the Kilmarnock game, he was poor. The game, he's been, since the winter break, arguably Goldson has been our worst defender. He looks a yard off the pace. He's been out muscled. He's been out fought. He's going down too easily. He just does not look up to the task. And I just find it incredulous that some of our fans, some of our so-called fans, are getting on John Souttar's back and trying to transfer the blame to John Souttar constantly, when Souttar, in my opinion, has been by far the better defender than Connor Goldson. You're not going to have had an absolute shooing off some of our fans for even daring to criticize Connor Goldson. But I think, unless you are, I don't know, football illiterate, you've got to see that, Goldson has been very poor since that winter break. His play, especially domestically, has not been good. Now, last time out against Hibs, we went with Souttar and Balogun, and we looked absolutely excellent in that 3-0 away win. So, look, tomorrow I would start with Souttar and Balogun. Do I think he'll do that? No, I don't. If he's going to drop anyone, it's going to be John Souttar. Unfortunately for John, I think Balogun may well start alongside Goldson. I mean, granted, Goldson has looked slightly better with Big Leon beside him. Big Leon's missed a fair few games. There's a need to rotate there to rest players, given obviously that we're coming off the back of that very tough game against Benfica on Thursday night. So there's a strong possibility that Big Leon could be in line for a recall. In terms of this game today, going into this game, if you look previous results, obviously Phil Clement's first game in charge, a 4-0 victory for Rangers over Hibs on the way back in October, 21st October 2023. Goals from Abdallah Sima, 2 goals there. He's obviously out injured now. Nicholas Raskin, God, that's a blast from the past. We love a Nicholas Raskin goal at some point today. And Cyril Dessers scored in the 79th minute to make it 4-0. The last time we played them at Easter Road, well, it was a 3-0 away victory. And like I said, it was a game where John Souttar and Leon Balogun were fantastic in central defence due to the suspension of Connor Goldson. Goals that day came from Ridvan Yilmaz, that fantastic finish from that brilliant lobbed pass from John Lundstrom, first time finish by Ridvan. Todd Cantwell with that thunderbolt, and Cyril Dessers with that cultured finish at the end there to make it 3-0. Would settle for that certainly today. Now, as Nick Montgomery alluded to, Hibs have strengthened in certain places. This was their lineup the last time they played, a game which was against Ross County, a win for them. Their form is pretty good, actually. They've won their last 5, and only 2 of those have come at home. So Miller, Fish, Bashiri, and Abita are their back 4. I mean, Abita had to play in central defence last time we played them due to their shortage of numbers. Newell and Mariah Welsh, Martin Boyle, Mark Hernandez, who is a very promising player, someone who's come in on loan from Brentford, and Brentford certainly have an eye for spotting talent and developing that talent and sending some of that talent on loan before using the talent in the Premier League. And we'll have a little look at him shortly. Mayoida, obviously, and Dylan Venter up front. The player I mentioned just a minute ago is a player that Hibs have managed to get in on loan from Brentford. That player goes by the name of Emiliano Marconades, I think his name is pronounced. He is from Denmark. He's 28 years old. He's an attacking midfielder. He started his career with Nordsjælland, which is intriguingly is the same place that Mohamed Diamande started his career. He's played between 2018 and 2021 for Brentford, where he made 81 appearances and scored 3 goals. He's then been on loan, went on loan to Midtjylland in Denmark before coming back to Bournemouth again in 2021, where he played 18 times. He then went back to Nordsjælland on loan, where he made 8 appearances, scoring 3 goals. And in January transfer window, he joined Hibs on loan, where so far he has made 5 appearances and scored a singular goal. He plays in that 10 role, very much likes a bit of a free role, likes to get around, create. And he's certainly a player we're going to have to watch tomorrow. Certainly a player who could affect the game, someone we haven't previously faced. So that'll be a new challenge for Phil Clement and the boys. Now, in terms of some stats and statistics going into the game today, Hibs are unbeaten, like I said, in their last 5 games, but only 2 of those wins have come at home, 3 of those away. There are currently 36 points separating Hibs and Rangers in the league table at the moment, which is incredible, from 1st to 6th. Rangers have won the last 5 games versus Hibs and are unbeaten in 8 meetings. The last time there was a loss to them was a 3-1 League Cup semi-final loss in November 2021. Hibs have not beaten Rangers in 12 meetings at Easter Road, losing the last 3 by an aggregate of 10-1. So certainly Rangers have had the whip hand over Hibs over recent games at Easter Road. The last win for Hibs over Rangers was in the Scottish Championship back in 2016. So 2 sides have played 33 times in the Scottish Cup so far. Rangers have won 14. Hibs have won 11, with 8 going to a replay. So it is a game where, well, again, we are obviously going to be the favourites. We should hold the whip hand, because even without, Cantwell, even without Cortez, even without Sima and Matondo and players like that, we still have, or should have, more than enough talent to overcome Hibs. Now, one player who has been absolutely fantastic for Rangers since Philippe Clement has arrived has been John Lundstram. Lunny has just been like a different player to the start of the season. I think, if you watched Lunny back at the start of the season, you'd have said, God, he needs to be sold. God, just let him go. Just seriously, if we can get something from him in January, brilliant. If we can't, let him walk in the summer. Guy's finished. I think that would have been the sentiment of a lot of Rangers fans when we saw John Lundstram under Michael Beale. And every time we saw his name on the team sheet, we gave a collective groan. I certainly did. But since Phil Clement has come to Rangers, Lundstram has been absolutely fantastic. At times he's dominated the midfield. He's won so many Man of the Match awards. And he's added not just that hard tackling, hard fighting, hard battling string, that he's always had. He's been more creative. He's had some, fantastic assists. The one against St Mirren for Cyril Dessa's goal, the one against Hibs for Ridvan Yilmaz's goal. And at times he's dominated the midfield. He's got stuck in. He's helped Rangers to take control. Now, Lundstram was not one of the players who's been part of the rotation plan. And it seems to me that that's really starting to catch up on Lunny. If we look at how much Lunny has played this year already, he's made 27 appearances in the Scottish Premiership, scored no goals, but 3 assists, 3 yellow cards. In the Europa League, he's made 7 appearances, 1 assist, 1 yellow card. In the League Cup, he made 4 appearances, 1 assist, 1 yellow card. 2 appearances in the Champions League, 2 appearances in the Scottish Cup so far, with 1 goal as well. So this season, 42 appearances already, 1 goal, 5 assists, 5 yellows, and has played 3,482 minutes. He's covered a lot of grass. He's worked very, very hard in those 3,482 minutes, in those 42 appearances that he's made. Now, nothing against Lunny, because I love Lunny. I think he's fantastic. I think he's been brilliant, and I'm certainly a convert to the John Lundstram cause, this year. But for me, Lunny's looking tired. He really is looking tired. He's looking fatigued. He's looking leggy. He's making silly mistakes. He's giving away the ball. He's making sloppy passes. He's making silly errors with judgments with his runs. He's making the wrong decisions with covering. His tackles, some of them have been a bit late. And I don't think that's down to the fact that, that there's been any kind of drop in his talent or his ability. I think that's solely down to the fact that he is genuinely out on his feet. He is tired. I think he does need a rotation. Now, like I said, it does seem strange that certain players, no matter what, are never rotated. Lundstram, Tav, Goldson, for example. Now, for me, I would rest some of those players today. I'd rest Goldson, I'd rest Lundstram, and bring in Balogun, bring in some Jack or Raskin or someone to cover for John Lundstram. We've got the talent there. Ryan Jack, if you were to bring him in for John Lundstram, is not going to let the team down. Ryan is a solid professional, a quality player. So for me, bringing in Ryan would certainly not weaken this team any. So, there's got to be choices there. Now, look, as much as I think Lunny's great, I'd have him on the bench, of course I would. I just think that it's time that he had a little rest. I think it is looking, like that fatigue is catching up on him. If you look at those last few performances. So with that in mind, I had a little think, and I obviously picked my team. This is my team, not what team. This is the team that I picked. I think I've tried to be a bit realistic as well as trying to predict a little bit what Philippe Clement would do. But it's absolutely impossible to pick what Philippe Clement will do. Obviously, come 4:15 tomorrow, we'll know a little bit more when he reveals his team. So obviously, Jack Butland in goal picks himself. I know Robbie McCrory needs minutes, but I just think when you get to the quarterfinal stage, when you're playing a team in form like Hibernian, you go with your first choice goalkeeper. Back four, Tav, Goldson, Balogun, and Yilmaz. I would like to see Souttar start in place of Goldson. I don't think he'll drop Goldson, no matter how bad Goldson's been in recent weeks. So I think they're there. But I would like to see Leon Balogun come back in and get a run out. Big Leon's been fantastic this season. He's probably been our best defender. Solid, brings the ball out brilliantly, gets forward well, distributes it well. He's no nonsense, gets stuck in. He's just quality. Ridvan Yilmaz, for me, has to start at left back. I know he put in a hell of a shift in Benfica on Thursday night. I am a bit worried that he'll start Borna Barisic tomorrow. Really don't rate Borna Barisic. Really genuinely think the guy is past it and finished. And certainly that display at Kilmarnock should kind of signal that his time at the club is well and truly done and dusted. So for me, I would start Yilmaz. Even if you're going to get 60, 65 minutes out of him, then bring on someone like John Lee Yefeko or Robbie Fraser, who were on the bench on Thursday night. They would do a lot better than Borna Barisic. I'm going with Ryan Jack in place of John Lundstram. Like I said, Ryan Jack's not going to weaken the team. Jack covers well for Tav. He drops back in well. I remember a game last season when Jack played alongside Raskin and Lundstram in a three, and he really did enable Raskin and Lundstram to look fantastic. So I'd go with Ryan Jack tomorrow. I really would today. Sorry, Mo Diamande has to start alongside him. I don't think Mo's obviously suffering from the fatigue that the other players are. And after all, he had that big rest. He hadn't played competitive football since November. Plus, he's tenacious. He's box to box. He's got an eye for a goal. He's got an eye for a shot from distance, which we need. He passes the ball well. He distributes it well. He's a Rolls Royce of a footballer. So for me, you've got to start Mo Diamande. The three behind the striker, I think Dujon Sterling won't be risked given the fact that he did have the ice on his hammy. I think Ross McCausland comes back in on the right. Tom Lawrence, I think, is the big question mark. Does Lawrence start after starting in midweek? Are they going to protect him a little bit? That's a question. Fabio Silva, for me, has to start on the left. He looked fantastic there against Benfica. Used the ball well, battled, held it up well, made some fantastic runs, was on the assist as well for Sterling's goal. So for me, Fabio Silva has to start on the left side. And Cyril Dessers probably starts up front, although, personally speaking, I would actually like to see Kemar Roofe given a run out. I thought Kemar looked lively. I thought his movement was good. I thought he did well when he came on Thursday night. So, there could be more changes there. Who knows? But that's the team that I've picked. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What is your team for today's game? Look, it isn't going to be an easy game. It's going to be a tough game. I think fatigue will play a part. Obviously the fact that we've got so many injuries as well gives us a limited squad to select from. Yes, it does. So that's just the way we're at. So, look, what are your predictions for today? Let me know in the comments down below what you're predicting for today's game. Obviously, we will be up and ready to go with the breaking news, team news live, and also we'll go live as well with a game live stream too, so come and join us for that. Well, guys, thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, and if I've earned your sub, please smash that sub and help the channel to keep on growing as we continue the smash to get to 6k subs by the end of this hopefully glorious season for our boys in blue. Well, two things I always ask of you on the way out. Number one is to smash the like, and number two is to always remember, please never forget, we are the people.